action.
Good morning, Jefferson. Happy Friday, Fall Friday. It's so much fun seeing all the scarecrows and the bats. We even have a bird flying down the hallway a little while ago. I hope we can help him find his way out. But it's going to be a great day, beautiful weather. And let me tell you what our Mindful Minute quote is for this morning. It is, "You are always responsible for how you act, no matter how you feel." And I needed to remember that this morning because I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, a lot of stuff going on and having to get ready for some things. And so when I did get up, I was really tired, more so than normal. But you know what? I can't be grumpy because that's just not what expected when you walk into these fabulous doors of Jefferson Elementary School. So even if you don't feel your greatest or you're a little bit mad about something, guess what? You always have to be responsible in how you act, okay? Gonna love today, seeing everybody having a wonderful time and dress for this fall day and the welcoming of October. Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you, Miss Wheaton. Good morning, Jefferson Elementary School. Welcome to school. Well, welcome this morning to Fabulous Friday. I hope everyone has a wonderful fall break. We'll be out of school next week, so we'll miss all your smiling faces, but we'll be back after a week with adventures to share. I've had some friends ask about the fall book fair. Those books will be shipping probably next week, so they'll be arriving the week when we come back, so we'll have books galore. And if you didn't hear the other day, we almost made $8,000 in sales, which means about $3,000 in books, which is a lot of books. So all those books you've been requesting, we'll be able to buy them now. Woohoo! I do want to share with you a book this morning. This is one of our tournament of books because we're ready for a new round. It's called Muddy, the Raccoon Who Stole Dishes. So I'm going to get closer so that way you can see the pictures. It is AR. I'm going to turn the little mic around so hopefully you can hear me. It is AR, so you can take an AR test on it. Muddy, the Raccoon Who Stole Dishes by Griffin Ananchi. Out of the city where the highway ends and the road turns to gravel and the gravel turns to dirt and grass begins to grow by Mud River lived a raccoon. Like all raccoons, he knew how to take care of himself. He ate all night and slept at the top of a tree all day. What is that called, Miss Wheaton, when an animal is awake all night? That's a vocabulary word.
Nocturnal.
Nocturnal, that's right. And we're having some first grade friends talk about a nocturnal animal today,
I was
too.
a little nocturnal last night.
Me too. So those bats, that first grade's having bat day. Those are also nocturnal animals.
Down the hallways.
There were a few bats. His name was Muddy Whiskers, and he still lived with his parents. So there's little Muddy at the top of the tree. Muddy was ordinary. He weighed 15 pounds, was 10 inches tall, and could open most garbage lids in under a minute. But he couldn't stand ordinary raccoon food. He refused to eat frogs, slugs, acorns, turtle eggs, crayfish, or clams. He only wanted to eat garbage. Any leftover food he could find, and he liked to eat it on plates. On plates. Can you believe that? A raccoon's like, I would like it served on fine china. Our son's a picky eater, his parents would say. His parents, Mr. and Mrs. Whiskers, were hardworking raccoons. Every night they stood on the shore of Mud River with other raccoons digging for clams. They dunked each clam in the water 17 times. It's very specific, 17 times. As raccoons do. So that's what they always do. They dip them in the water. And after eating, they washed the shells and left them in big piles on the riverbank. So if you ever see a pile of clam shells on a riverbank, a raccoon could have been eating them. Very interesting. I'd like to see a video of that.
Mm-hmm.
Then they stood and gazed at a fancy new restaurant across the river. Fancy new restaurant. All of the Mud River raccoons used to live in the city, and all of them were banished because they'd eaten too much garbage. None of them wanted to get in trouble again, so every raccoon promised not to cross Mud River to steal people's leftovers. Muddy was the only raccoon who couldn't make that promise. Why shouldn't we eat delicious leftovers if they leave them in big bins for us to find? He asked his parents. So he stayed in his tree and kept thinking about garbage. Delicious garbage. Yum, 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 yum. Each evening his father stood at the bottom of the tree and called to Muddy, "Why don't you come down here and help us wash these clams?" "I'm busy," Muddy called down. But Muddy was only busy waiting for the restaurant to open. And when the open sign flashed on, Muddy hurried across the river to Le Grand Bistro, stole a plate from the patio, then dug through the garbage bins, piling on whatever he could find. He'd eat and then dunk the plate 17 times and add it to a big pile on the riverbank. Okay, so think about what he's doing, boys and girls. He's getting his plate, because he likes to eat on china. So he's eating on his plate, getting all the food from the garbage, and then he'll go and wash the plate 17 times, just like they do with the clams, and leaving the plate on the riverbank. Now, if I saw a stack of plates on a riverbank, I would think something strange was happening. Muddy's parents were worried, knowing Muddy was somewhere eating garbage. "He'll cause trouble," Muddy's father muttered, and sure enough, one night, Muddy did. Muddy left his tree ready to eat soggy pizza, dry corn cobs, and sticky marshmallows. But when he got across the river, Muddy noticed the door to the restaurant kitchen was open. He looked inside and saw a big plate full of golden French fries. Muddy climbed up onto the counter, took a French fry and dipped it 17 times in a glass of water and ate as fast as he could. This is easier than looking for leftovers, he thought. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. Uh-oh. He grabbed the plate and floated it on the water, nudging it across with his nose. As Muddy climbed out of the water, he bumped into his parents. His father's eyes widened. "Where did you get that plate?" "From the restaurant across the river," Muddy said, dropping the plate and spilling the fries. His father's short, hairy arms poked the air, and his paws frantically pulled his ears. "Raccoons don't steal plates," he cried. "What were you thinking?" "Calm down," Muddy's mother said. "You'll attract the other raccoons." His father stroked his ears till he calmed down, but by now a crowd of raccoons had gathered. "I thought we'd agreed not to steal leftovers," an old raccoon said. "Now your son is stealing plates?" See, look at all the plates stacked up there. "Well, our son's a picky eater," said Mrs. Whiskers, wringing her paws. "That's no excuse," insisted the old raccoon. "He gets us all in trouble." The wise old raccoon had been chased out of more garbage bins than anyone. His nose was scratched and the tip of his tail was missing. "How many plates have you stolen, Muddy?" he asked. "A lot." Muddy showed his parents and all the other raccoons the gleaming plates stacked in piles down the shore. Amazed, the old raccoon said, "Well, we'll have to wash the plates again and return them to the restaurant." "Good idea," agreed Muddy's parents, "and Muddy will promise not to steal leftovers again." The raccoons formed a line along the shore, each dipping a plate 17 times. They washed and scrubbed the plates with their sensitive little fingers until they sparkled. And then the old raccoon said, "Lead the way to the restaurant, Muddy." Muddy and all the others waded across the river, all of them holding plates above their heads. And when they reached Le Grand Bistro, Muddy hurried to the head waiter and held up the plate. "I stole your plates," he said, in raccoon language. "We washed them so you wouldn't have to wash them again." His mother nudged him forward. And I stand here before you and I promise with all my heart to stop eating your leftovers. But by then, every person had left the restaurant. So I don't know if you can see really clearly, boys and girls, but all the raccoons are lined up with plates, and then they're going up to the head waiter and they're just speaking. I mean, they're saying, "We won't do it again, we promise." But all the people are like, "Ah! Raccoons are here with plates." So they think what? What do you think? What do you think they probably think, Miss Wheaton?
They're wanting some dinner.
Yeah.
Put on that plate.
The raccoons have come for dinner. That's right. Muddy stood up and eyed all the plates. Well, it seems a waste not to eat all this food. Was that the right page? Yeah. So they ate all the food and then they took all their plates back with them to the tree. So
I've got a connection to that story, Miss Goldie.
Yes, what's your connection?
Well, when I was little, I actually had a pet raccoon. His name was Zorro.
Zorro the raccoon.
Zorro the raccoon, and he was a orphan baby raccoon that we discovered in the woods. So I took him in and took him to my house and raised him. And he has a lot of the same qualities that Muddy had. Trust me.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Zorro the raccoon. You could write a children's book probably with some of your adventures. Well, that was Muddy the raccoon who stole dishes, boys and girls. It is an AR test, and it's one of our tournament of books that we'll be voting on. So our announcement friends will come in. Have a great Friday, and we will see you all soon.
Good morning, Dragons. Today is Stacy and our special attention. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now for a moment of silence. Thank you. We are the Jefferson Elementary School Dragons and be war. We are respectful, we are on task and ready, we are always safe, and we are responsible. Together we can make a difference.
Have a good day, Dragons.